Thank you, and welcome to the November 6th meeting of the Easthampton City Council. Could I have a roll call, please?
Justin Cobb.
Present.
Donald Psychowski.
Here.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Dan Hagan.
Present.
Joseph McCoy.
Here.
Chester Oglevitz.
Present.
Dan Rist.
Here.
Joy Winnie.
Here.
Nathan Ziegler.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
moved.
Second?
I have a motion on the table to approve the minutes of the previous meeting of October 16th. Any amendments or comments on the motion, on the meetings, minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Abstain.
abstentions or abstentions? Thank you.
Abstain.
Motion passes. Okay, at this time, we'll entertain public speak if there's anybody in the,
Joy was here.
I was here?
excuse me?
Dan wasn't here.
Mr. President.
I take that
need
back.
to remove my aye vote from the minutes and ask for an
Here,
abstention,
the 16th?
because I was not here. I
Thank you.
forgot.
Oh,
Sorry.
So,
I'll
Kate?
take my,
Councilor Psychowski, you had something you wanted to say before we end up in public speak?
Yes, I would like to thank everybody that voted for me. I know I didn't, I realize I'm not gonna be with you after 3 more meetings from tonight because I didn't get reelected. But it was a pleasure to serve you for the last decade or so. And I'm still gonna be interested in politics, and I'll be around. But thanks a lot, folks.
Thank you. You want to say anything, Chad? I'm good. Okay. That said, this is public speak time. If any members of the public would like to address the council at this time, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. This concerns anything that is not currently on our public hearing agenda.
Brand New Hendrick Street. The reason I'm here tonight is, I think it's on your agenda for CPA funds for the painting of the church, but, and that's maybe why I'm here later on, but why I'm here right now is I watched the CPA meeting on my computer a couple of days ago, and during public speak time, Harry was really concerned about the clock, why the clock is not working, because the town appropriated some money from CPA a few years ago for that purpose. And when I had asked them for money for the painting, I think I promised that I wouldn't consider the job done if the clock wasn't working. So I'd like to tell you now that by Thanksgiving Day, I expect that clock will be working on all 4 sides. Okay, it's been a long time, but that should be taken care of by Thanksgiving Day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there other member of the public who would like to step forward and address the council on any issue currently not on our public hearing agenda? Please do so and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, communications from elected officials, boards, and committee. Councilor McCoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We have 2 communications, both from the planning board, concerning zoning changes, some new, some alterations. First one is from the planning board, as I said, relating to proposed medical marijuana ordinance about such facilities could be located in our city. The second one, which was initiated by our own Councilor Cobb, was some fixing up of certain zoning, tightening up, maybe I should say, of certain zoning sections that had become outdated. So as a motion, I would like to submit these both to ordinance.
Second.
Okay, is that appropriate, or do you want to set a public hearing for the second one?
The second one I was planning on setting a public hearing for during my
Yeah, but we still
Okay.
have to send it to committees.
yeah.
We'll
Well,
send
no,
it
it's
to-
already been in committee. This is actually just the planning board's response
my
to the work that we
mistake.
did within
My
committee.
mistake.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay,
change the
so
motion.
we'll do the first one. We have a motion on the table to recommend that the proposed ordinance for medical marijuana drafted by the planning board be sent to ordinance for review and consideration. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Okay, that motion passes. On the second item, which Council Coy briefly touched upon, Councilor Derby, if you would like to,
Sure, I can move that.
or do you want
I
to do it
can
in
set
your
the public
report? It's your
hearing now.
preference.
I can do it now. I would like to move that the proposed zoning changes on the special permitting process set a public hearing for November 20th at 6:15 in these chambers.
Second.
For the second item under communications, the proposed ordinance changes concerning the special permit process from the planning board. We have a motion on the table to recommend a public hearing for November 20th, 6:15 in these chambers. Is there any further comment on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Okay, that motion passes. Anything else, Councilor McCoy?
Not from communications or correspondence, thank you.
Mayor Communications?
Mr. President, councilors, thank you. Just a few items that are on your agenda. First is acknowledgement to Williston Northampton School for their donation of $10,000 to help support the Emily Williston Memorial Library. As you know, this money is included as a source of income in the budget, and so this payment does meet our income projection from Williston. Their previous donations had been $20,000 up to a couple of years ago, and then they reduced it from $20,000 to $10,000 because of the economic pressure on their endowment, I believe. And so it remains at $10,000. Second item is a request for your approval of a proposed intermunicipal agreement. This is for a, I'm sorry, well, I'll go that one in. This is for a municipal hearing officer. It's actually the third item on your agenda. And that is an agreement to use a common hearing officer in both Easthampton and Northampton for violations of fire regulations. And so this is something that we've actually been doing for several years. And this year, the city of Northampton would like you to approve it under a state law that requires city council approval for intermunicipal agreements. And so this isn't anything new from the point of view of what the fire department has been doing for years now. But the request for city council authority is a new request from the city of Northampton. So that would need some action on your part. And then finally, the second item, and the last item I'll talk to you about, is a proposed settlement with Richard Boyle with regards to the Manhan River Dam and his property adjacent to that dam. You may recall that when we sold the parcel, the city kept the right to do two things on that site. Besides maintenance and repair work of whatever facilities we own there, we kept the right to build a fishway or a fish ladder and to construct a hydroelectric facility at the location. Now that the fish ladder project is just about finished, there really isn't capacity for a hydro facility there, and in an effort to settle with this particular property owner, we've agreed that if the city council concurs, that the city would give up its right to build a hydroelectric facility at that dam. So I've given you the proposed language that's been approved by the city's attorney, negotiated and approved by the city's attorney, and I would ask that you send that to the appropriate committee.
Okay. Are there any questions for the mayor while he's up there? Seeing none, Councilor List?
I just wanted to make sure, so Mr. Boyle also has signed this, so it's,
Yeah,
both parties
yeah.
have agreed to this.
All parties have
It's all
agreed.
settled legally, so we just have to approve it.
All parties have agreed, subject to the city council's authority to amend that easement.
Feel like we'll
Mr.
be-
President, I would like to move both the Waterworks Agreement and the intermunicipal agreement with Northampton to Rules and Government Relations for
Second.
approval.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to move the aforementioned agreements to rules for review and consideration. Is there any further comment on this motion?
Did we have a second?
Yes, it was done.
Oh, so sorry.
Okay. Any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That motion passes. Is that it? Okay, that's good. Okay, I guess we do have a little time. We can head on to reports, sustaining committees, rules and government relations.
Mr. President, yes, now we have 3 items in committee. Unfortunately, my personal schedule won't allow me to schedule a rules meeting until the next council meeting, but I promise to get all 3 these items out of committee before the end of this term of this council. So I hope to, with my partners on the Rules Committee, to schedule a meeting at the next council meeting.
I'll come prepared.
All right, so I apologize for that, but that's the best I can do personally. Thank you.
Finance, Councilor Hagan?
Finance tonight, there's 2 public hearings involving finance, which we'll obviously take up in a few minutes. The only other item agenda that we have is the 2014 tax classification. And In the form of a motion, I'd like to set a public hearing for that item on November 20th, 2013.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to set a public hearing for the tax classification for November 20th at 6:15 in these chambers. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstention? Motion passes. Go ahead. Counselor Hagan?
In relation to this same matter, I've talked to the assessor, and he said he'll be prepared at the next finance meeting next week with all the information so that we can move it forward at that meeting.
Okay.
The only other items, I believe there's a couple of items of new business, which I can take up at new business, or...
We'll take them up in new business.
One other thing, our next meeting will be November 13th, 2013, at 6 PM, room 1.
Okay. Public safety, Counselor McCoy?
Thank you very much. We do have two topics that we'll be addressing: the stop sign proposal, Garfield Avenue and Hiskin, and the review of parking restrictions on Mechanic Street. We'll be having a meeting on the 12th, November 12th, at 6 PM, conference room 1, to finish up both of those topics. And I believe the stop sign proposal, at the same time now, I'd like to schedule a public hearing for that topic for November 20th at 6:15 PM. And that's in a form of motion, please, for the
Second.
scheduling of the public hearing.
We have a motion on the table to schedule the request for a stop sign proposal on Garfield and Hiskin Ave. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes.
And that concludes, Mr. President.
Thank you. Appointments, Counselor Winnie?
Hi, yes, thank you. I have numerous appointments to deal with in the new business, but I would like to set two public hearings, as we have no meeting tonight. The first one being November 20th at 5:30 for the mayoral appointments that are in new business. And then I would like to set a second appointment subcommittee for December 4th at 5:45 for the two CPA council appointments that the president will be bringing forth.
Okay. Is that in the form of a motion?
It's in a form of motion,
second.
I don't
please.
need a motion for scheduling a meeting.
Yeah.
Subcommittee.
Okay. Just scheduling meeting?
Yep, just meetings, yep.
Okay. Public meeting. Okay.
Okay, and
Anything else?
that's the end of my report, thank you.
Concludes. Ordinance, can you keep it brief?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to let everyone know that our next meeting is going to be November 13th at 6 PM here at 50 Payson in a room to be determined.
Very good. Okay. Property, Counselor Psychowski?
No report this evening.
Excellent. Okay, at that point, we're about a minute shy, but I think we're close enough. Are we close enough to enter into a public hearing?
2 minutes.
Got 2 minutes? Okay, in that case, Counselor Hagan, you want to take up the supplement new business, please?
Yeah, I have two new business items. The first one we'll take up is, and I'll do a first reading on this, is a supplemental appropriation request dated October 21st, 2013. Request is hereby made for the approval of the following appropriation. The amount requested is $22,500 to be appropriated from free cash, in that amount $22,500, and appropriated to police cruiser acquisition, $22,500. The amount requested to be used for the following purpose: to provide supplemental funding for the replacement of a marked police cruiser that was destroyed in a motor vehicle accident. Now, I'll make a motion that be sent to, this item be sent to the Finance Subcommittee.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to send to Finance Subcommittee for review and consideration of supplemental appropriation request in the amount of $22,500 to provide supplemental funding for the replacement of a marked police vehicle that was destroyed in a motor vehicle accident. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. Counselor Hagan.
The second item of new business is, and I'll do a first reading also on this one, is a supplemental appropriation request dated October 15th, 2013. The request is hereby made for approval of the following appropriation. The amount requested $50,000 to be appropriated from CPA Historical Preservation Fund, $50,000, and appropriated to the CPA Easthampton Congregational Church Painting, Fund. In that amount, $50,000. The amount requested will be used for the following purpose: to fund the painting of the exterior of the Easthampton Congregational Church at 112 Main Street.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to recommend to Finance for review and consideration and a supplemental appropriation request in the amount of $50,000 to be appropriated to fund the painting of an exterior of the Easthampton Congregational Church at 112 Main Street using CPA funds. Is there any further comment on this motion? Is there any none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That motion passes. Now, we're right on the dime here. Apologize, Council Winnie, we're gonna have to wait.
All right. No, I'm good.
Do I have a motion to enter into public hearing, please?
Second.
We have a motion to enter into the public hearing. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. Councilor Hagan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Councilor Cobb. Our first public hearing tonight is an interdepartmental transfer, and I'd like to do a second reading on the interdepartmental transfer. It's dated September 18th, 2013, and is a request for approval of the following appropriation. The amount is $24,000 to be transferred from the reserve fund. In that amount, $24,000, and transfer to $1,000 to building operations power and $23,000 to building operations heat and fuel. The amount requested will be used for the following purpose: to provide funds for electric, fuel, and heating costs at the Parsons Street School. Before I call for members of the public or the mayor to speak on this, or the finance director, this is a result of the city now, instead of the school department, the city side controlling Parsons Street School, and the cold weather coming, we need heat to keep it going. But I can let the mayor or the finance director or a member speak on it if there's more that they want to.
Would any of the, okay, please. Thank you.
Yeah, the reason this is in front of you is that we had expected that you would have acted on disposal of this building since July, but you haven't.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a question?
thanks, Joe.
I'm sorry?
That's right. Does this covers, is this expected to be for the whole season, or is this just a period?
For the
of time?
winter.
For the winter.
The entire winter, yeah. Based on consumption records that we pulled for the last 12-month period. We've turned the heat down a little further. We're monitoring the building as it gets colder to see. The building had been run at about 50 or 55 degrees. And so we're going to try to bring that temperature down a little bit further to try to save some more fuel. In the last 11 days, it used about 260 gallons of oil, and it's not really very cold. So it's just, it's a tough building to heat. It's very expensive.
Is there any other questions for the mayor while he's up at the podium? Okay. Seeing none, is there any member of the public who would like to step forward and address the council on this issue? Seeing none, Councilor Hagan.
I'd just like to make a couple comments. This was kind of, the city kind of took this late in the budget cycle, so it wasn't included in the, I believe that was the reason, it wasn't included in the annual budget, so the need for the additional appropriation. And also, I would like to commend the school department, because the finance committee did ask them for documentation on the mayor, it said about going back and tracking what the school department had paid for cost, and they were very receptive and sent me reams of, including each individual bill that they paid. So I just wanted to congratulate them.
Okay.
I have a question. Where are we with the committee in disposing of this building? Do we know?
That's a question that I would address to the chair. Go ahead.
We're not moving along very too far with the issue yet. The reason that the sprinklers are in that building, the fire department says we gotta heat the building, so.
I get
The thing of
that.
it is, we have to realize and we have to respect some of the wishes down there at Parsons Street. For those people that are been stuck with all the affordable housing going into that, they're asked for certain things, and we're gonna have to work through that slowly but surely and do it right. Thank you.
Any other questions by any of the councilors? Okay, Councilor Hagan.
I'd like to make a motion that the council approve the following appropriation, $24,000 to be transferred to from the reserve fund to $1,000 to building operations power and $23,000 to building operations heating fuel to provide funds for the electric fuel and heating cost of Parsons Street School.
Second.
We have a motion on the table for interdepartmental transfer of $24,000 to provide funds for electric fuel and heating costs at the Parsons Street School. Is there any further comment on this motion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. Counselor Hagan?
Second public hearing tonight is, and I'll do a second reading on this item, it's an interdepartmental transfer dated October 9th, 2013. The amount requested is $7,150, and it's to be transferred from the reserve fund in that amount and transferred to the following temporary positions: election worker, $7,000, and election postage, $150, for that total $7,150. And the request is used for the following purpose: the funding for the dual November 5th, 2013 city election and special state election. Obviously, this is the cost for paying the workers at the polls yesterday, and the city clerk did provide for me an update. We did spend the exact total, or as exact as she has at this point, is the total cost was $7,488.25. But there is still $750 in that line item after the election of October 8th, the special election. So this would be to pay the workers for yesterday. I don't know if there's...
Okay. Would the city clerk like to add any information?
No, that pretty much.
Okay. Is there any other? Counselor Winnie?
What are they they're reimbursing just extended hours and the cost of programming of the machines? What about personnel? I know that,
No, for every state election, we get a certain amount of money for the extended polling hours. It's basically 3 hours. So this was a state election, so we will someday get the money. And they do pay to program the AutoMark, which I don't really understand how they're going to do it, because part of it was city and part of it was state, and we've already paid it. So, but this was not like the special election in the spring. It wasn't. It just was a vacancy. It wasn't something that came about because of a state mandate, because of legislative action. We're still waiting for that money, but we will get it. But
okay, thank you.
Okay, that satisfies.
Yep.
Any other questions from the councilors? Seeing none, Counselor Hagan. Any members of the public would like to step forward and address the council on this issue? Please do so, and step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay? Seeing none, Counselor Hagan.
Just as an aside, I'd like to ask the clerk, what was the new machine? Was it, how did it go? I know we were only one of 2 cities that tested this new machine.
Well, for us in Easthampton, it went very well. You know, as you know, it was pretty much the same technology as we use now, different type of machine. It went really well for us. Can't really say the other city, Quincy, did have some issues, but the idea was to have some test elections so it could possibly be certified. Doesn't mean it would automatically be certified, but yeah.
Thank you.
I think it went well.
Thank you.
Just for the record, the test machines were run in Precinct 5. Okay? No further comment? Counselor Hagan.
No further comment. I'll make the following motion, that the city council, full city council approve the following appropriation of $7,150 from the reserve fund and transfer it to election workers, $7,000, and election postage, $150, to cover the cost of the November 5th, 2000 dual city election and special state election.
Second.
We have a motion on the table for an departmental transfer of $7,150 to fund the dual November 5th, 2013 city election and the special state election. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. There's one item left, and that's mayoral appointments. Council Winnie, do you have the floor? Oh, we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to close the public hearing.
Just gonna say that.
Okay, all those in, any further comment on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Public hearing is closed. Councilman Winnie, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the 21 mayoral appointments be sent down to Appointment Subcommittee for review.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to send the aforementioned 21 mayoral appointments down to appointments for consideration and review. Is there any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. I believe that concludes our business for the day. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion on to adjourn. Any further comment on this motion? Any none? All those in favor? Aye. Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.